Nobody's telling you these 5 secrets you must know in order to make millions of dollars online going into 2025. There is an absolute reason, no coincidence, why some people make millions on the internet and some go bankrupt. And it has nothing to do with luck. Only losers will blame their failures on bad luck. The winner, well, they make things happen. Luck is just a silly excuse or a lie you tell yourself as to why you did not achieve what it is that you wanted to achieve. It's kind of like the person who's on the diet but never loses the weight versus the person that's in shape, and that person looks at them saying, man, they got lucky. No, they didn't, but they just did the actual thing that it took to get where they wanted to go. Now, we've all heard the common typical advice on how to make money doing e-commerce or selling things online. But what if I told you no matter what industry you're in, there's 5 main secrets that you must know in order to achieve true success? Because these are the same 5 skills that took me from being a broke high school dropout to a multimillionaire in just a few years, all online. So stick around because I will break down the 5 complete secrets, and the last one, which is the 5th one, you definitely don't want to miss. If you're new here, my name's Anthony Del Rio, and I literally went from working as a grocery store worker to a multi-7-figure online entrepreneur in just a few short years. Now, I used Amazon's FBA program to be able to leverage this and build my own online business without any prior experience. And I'm going to talk about the exact skills that I use to be able to create this leverage in my life and in my business to actually get what I was looking for, which most of us are all looking for the same thing: more time, more money, and true freedom. Life's not that complicated, but a lot of people tend to overcomplicate things. And these are some of the same skills that even like one of the students that I've been able to help, Kevin, did over 10K his first month all online, but he used these same 5 skills, so I need you to pay attention. So here's the secret number 1. You have to learn what true resilience means. Now, I'm sure some of you've heard of it. You gotta be resilient. Resilience is the key to success, but what does resilience actually mean? Well, let me tell you this. My story is a little bit different than most, but maybe it'll resonate with you, because I started in a place that most people wouldn't even expect. High school dropout, in and out of trouble, and probably not the ideal type of person that you would have thought would have ever ended up to be any sort of success in life or business at all. But you know what kept me going the most? Resilience. I know it may sound simple, but let me break it down. The ability to bounce back from setbacks and losses is the only thing that will actually dictate you to be a winner. I failed so many times with my own Amazon business. I even got my first Amazon account permanently disabled. That was my dad's account because I started when I was younger than 18 years old. And the person that I originally started my Amazon business with ended up giving up, throwing in the towel because he thought it was all over. But I literally could not take that for an answer. I was not in a position to be able to take no for an answer. So what did I do? I adapted. And you must know that all great players adapt, whether in business, sports, relationships, whatever it may be, all great players are adaptive towards their situation. And that resilience was the first domino effect to actually turning my life around. Look, a lot of people see failure as a bad thing, where somebody like me sees failure as the only way to actually grow from the mistakes that you've made, so you know which path to actually take. The way you perceive things are very important. So if you look at these things as failures and not a way for you to learn and be resilient, then chances are you're probably not really gonna end up where you wanna be. And I'm just being transparent. And this leads into developing a growth mindset, because if you're always in this lack or scarcity mindset, thinking that everything happening to you is happening against you and not for you, you're never gonna even see opportunity for growth or progression, and you'll probably end up just quitting, like the person I started my original business with. Now, the second skill is adaptability. Now, I wanted to sneak it into the first skill because being adaptive, being somebody that can adapt and kind of conform to a situation like a sponge, or like think of an octopus, you have to be able to do that, because a lot of times people like to read these textbooks or take these courses and then they think they just go out there and follow the playbook. But life is not a textbook, and it never will be, because you can't predict anything and everything that's going to happen to you. But what you can do is you can control the way you react to everything that does happen to you. And being adaptive literally allowed me to always stay ahead of the curve. Even if it was something bad happening, I realized that I would learn from it and adapt and end up moving forward and end up taking it as a learning lesson anyways. One of the biggest factors that I think helped me being adaptive in everything that I've done is being open to adjusting your approach. Now, here's what I mean. A lot of people get stuck on the initial concept or idea of what it is that they're trying to do. It's kind of like sunk cost fallacy. If you know what sunk cost fallacy is, great. If not, I'll break it down for you here. Sunk cost fallacy is basically a strategy or a plan where somebody is not willing to abandon based on the initial idea or concept that they thought would have occurred from this strategy. So it's kind of like the person who marries his wife, and then they buy a house, and then they share a bank account, and then they have kids. But then in 10 years, they're both morbidly miserable and cannot stand each other and live in a toxic environment, are not raising their kids the right way, and they're unhappy, so they know they need to separate, but they're still attached to the original idea that maybe what if? Or even worse, and this is where the fallacy kicks in, is since we've already been married, already had a kid, already bought a house, we might as well just stick it out and stay together. That is how you can make sure that you're not adaptive. So be open to changing your approach and don't fall into the fallacy of sunk cost. Now, the third skill that you have to acquire is remote management, because the ability to run a business from anywhere in the world is real, but if you don't know how to remotely manage your business, trust me, it will crash and burn into flames. You have to have true systems set up in place with real processes that are able to be handled by somebody else that you can manage from a higher level of leverage. This is like leveraging a sales process or leveraging a marketing campaign, or even just building a team and leveraging your managers to actually make sure that the work gets done. This is what I mean by true remote management. Because again, if you just have a bunch of people in an organization running around like a bunch of chickens with their heads cut off, your business is going to crash and burn. Now, the fourth skill is visionary thinking. Now, here's what I want you to think of, right? Think of a box. Okay, most entrepreneurs live in this box. Okay, I call it the boxed mentality. And they don't dare to think to see outside of the box. So they can only operate in what they believe is true inside of this box in the boxed mentality. And every time that I've ever gone out and thought outside of the box, it's either created a great idea and a great strategy to follow, or a great idea to not follow, which then ends up just trickling down into something else. And then I end up finding something else to do anyways. So the moral of the story is that you must be okay with thinking outside of the box. Do not be the person that only lives inside this box. You do not want to get trapped living here. I think a great way to be able to get new ideas is obviously learning from other people, but also traveling around the world and maybe different states, traveling towards different communities and seeing different nationalities and different business types and entrepreneurs versus CEOs versus blue collar people versus white collar people. You get lots of ideas seeing the way that other people live their life. So don't be against learning from other people, even if they're not as cool or maybe as successful as you, because you can always take a different outcome of an approach from somebody else. What I mean by that is maybe you know, take advice from the construction man, even though you're not a construction worker, because he may have a different perception on something that you're looking at. Kind of like when maybe you're like, hey, has anybody seen my watch? Right? And you've looked everywhere for it. And then, you know, your girlfriend comes in your room and it's right on your desk. And you're like, how did I see that? She may just have a different perception. She may just have a different approach. She may have just clicked and looked at something that you maybe were too overly focused on. The moral of the story is this: don't be afraid to take advice from people, because everybody has something to teach someone. Now, in my opinion, this is saving the best for last. Skill number 5, secret number 5 in all reality, is emotional intelligence. This is how you actually cultivate a $1 million idea. You see, humility will take you a long way. So it's crucial to build meaningful relationships with your customers inside your company, but also your team members as well, because those are the people that run this vehicle. So how you understand people's emotions psychologically, and you peel back these layers and you actually get to know how to develop people. Emotional intelligence is a crucial skill that bleeds into, again, basically everything else we've talked about in this video, and how you react in different situations with different people, because there's no one person that's like another person will dictate how successful you can be. Remember, you can never outshine the level of person that you are. Once you master emotional intelligence, you are so much closer to getting where you want to be than you have any idea. I repeat, emotional intelligence, because it's emotional. You don't have to be a genius, because trust me, I'm not, but we'll save that for another video. But what I am good at is negotiations, team management, and cultivating a place that people actually want to be a part of, because I understand true emotional intelligence. A great way to learn about emotional intelligence is obviously researching whatever it is that you want to go through, whether it's books or podcasts or YouTube videos or whatever it may be that you like to learn best from. But a few key tips that I could tell you, which will definitely raise the level of awareness you have for your own emotional intelligence, is make sure you hear people out and actually empathize with other people, especially in your team and clients that you have. The second thing is foster open lines of communication. Don't be one of those people that's afraid of confrontation or having that awkward conversation. It has to be had for a reason. And the third thing is building long-lasting relationships in your business, in your life, because relationships are what will take you to where you want to go. My mentor told me this: if there's one thing that you will get lucky enough happening in your journey, it's bumping into the right person. It's not an idea, it's not a strategy, it's not a marketing system, it's not a product, it's bumping into the right person. And there you have it. Those are my top 5 favorite, most impactful skills that took me from a broke high school dropout loser to an online multimillionaire. And everything we talked about is key to unlocking everything you want in your life. I would encourage you, no matter what industry you're a part of, or if you even know who I am and just stumbled across this video, that you start practicing these 5 things. And I guarantee you, nothing but positivity will come from these 5 skills. And don't just watch this video and get out of here. Actually listen and absorb and go out and implement it. Because think about it, you already spent the time, you might as well implement the information. And if you did find value in today's video, I know here on YouTube, I'm brand new. This is only my first or second video, depending on when we get this out and edited, but I would appreciate if you like, share, comment, subscribe, not follow because it's not Instagram, but if you know what I'm saying, okay? I'm new to the YouTube. I'm gonna make sure to prioritize this if you guys do give me good feedback and you do enjoy it. And honestly, as long as it helps one person out there, that's all I care about. Until next time, keep hustling, stay positive, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.